Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to find out everything I can about Japan people, the culture, the Pokemon, and today about things that are legal in Japan but illegal everywhere else. Now, I don't know if this is going to be like absolutely everywhere else these things will be illegal but they're okay in Japan. But that is what I'm here to find out because, you know, might want to be a bit reckless when I go over there, but I doubt it. Now, we did watch one of these videos before where this gentleman, whose name temporarily escapes me, I want to say it begins with a P, went over things that were illegal in Japan but legal everywhere else, which I thought was very useful because you don't want to go over there thinking things are fine when, you know, they're not, because that's bad. So we got the total flip-flop of this now, and we are going to find out things we are allowed to do in Japan but we're probably not allowed to do elsewhere. So let us jump in and see what they are.
Number 1, age of consent. This one is a much debated topic in Japan today, but the legal age of consent is 13 years old.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be breaking that one. That's quite young. That is very young. That is very, very young. Is there any sort of like nuance to this though? Whereas like it's 13 but only if people are at the same age. Whereas if it was a 13 and say a 30-year-old, then that would be frowned upon and illegal. I hope he goes into more detail because that is very young.
Old in Japan, and one of the lowest in the world. Age of consent referring to the minimum age at which a person is considered to be capable of giving consent to sexual acts. In fact, this has been part of the Japan Penal Code since 1907, more than 100 years without change. Interestingly, most prefectures in Japan have statutes and local ordinances that raise the effective age to between 16 and 18
there you
years
go,
old,
that's good.
while at the same time leaving some gray area for specific cases. At the end of the day, though,
yeah, I can sort of like, as bad as this sort of like may sound, it's like if two 13-year-olds are consenting, that's so different from someone a lot older than the younger person as well, but it's still a very young age.
though the national age of
I was still playing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at that age.
consent in Japan is 13 years old. Number 2.
That isn't how I thought this video would start. Let's see where else we go and how more horrified we can be.
2. Marrying cousins. On somewhat of a lighter note, it's legal in Japan to marry your first cousin.
I'm pretty sure I don't have any cousins out in Japan, so I probably won't be breaking that. I won't be, not breaking because this is legal. I probably won't be taking advantage of that one either.
Like many of these laws in the video, it may be legal in some countries, or if you're from the US, in your state. But the truth is, in other parts of the world, marrying your first cousin is still against the law.
I don't know what that's like in the UK because it's kind of something that I've never even considered looking into because, you know, why would I?
So I thought this one was worth mentioning. This law dates all the way back to Japan's Meiji period when it was passed in 1898. It's common enough in Japan that there's a word for it, itoko-kon. In fact, there have been many famous and well-known people in Japan who have married their first cousin. For example, Japan's 56th Prime Minister, who's the grandfather of Japan's more recent Prime Minister, Abe, was married to his first...
I like the way that arrow appeared, just some random guy walking down the street. It was like... It's like...
Prime Minister, who's the grandfather of Japan's more...
It's like, yeah, this guy here, look. That guy there. It's his granddad. We're spying on him.
Recent Prime Minister Abe was married to his first cousin. There were even 2 prime ministers after him who were also married to their first cousin. One of the reasons for this law was to allow families to keep their wealth within their family. Fortunately, for those living in Japan today who also want to legally spend the rest of their life with their first cousin, Japan is all for it. Number 3, defamation. So this is an interesting one. In Japan, you can sue someone for defamation if they damage your honor, aka public image, even if the statements are true. This one kind of blew my...
That's a bit extreme. Even if the statements are true, they can still be sued. That's weird.
My mind, since I'm from the US and we understand defamation to be the oral or written communication of a false statement about another that unjustly harms their reputation and usually constitutes a tort or crime. But in Japan, hurting someone's honor or even hurting a company's honor is protected by law, despite the statements being true. I should note though that many laws in Japan leave a lot of gray area, but the main 3 criteria for defamation in Japan is: 1. The statement is shared with the general public. 2. It reveals specific facts whether true or not. And 3. Damages one's honor, either socially, their value, or how they value themselves. So for example, telling your coworkers or the public that your married boss is having an affair with someone, even though it's completely true, is considered defamation in Japan. Even online...
That's strange. I mean, I don't think I'd bother to sue anyone. It just seems like a lot of hassle.
Statements, if the 3 previously mentioned criteria are met, can be considered defamation. There are exceptions though, such that you're stating facts about public interest or you're a whistleblower to expose company fraud. But at the end of the day, the Japanese law is to protect individuals and companies from malicious actors that intend to do their honor or image harm. Here are 2 examples that actually happened in Japan.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. If you like, people are just vindictively going after you, but obviously if there's like truth behind it. But then again, it's kind of like, what business is it of other people if it's not affecting anyone else? You know, it's like this person having an affair, it doesn't really affect anyone apart from their immediate group of friends. Just tell the wife, then that's what you need to do, not like publicly go out. So I kind of get that, but it's still a bit odd.
Case 1, in 2018, a person was having an affair and it was posted on social media by a third party. Although the affair was happening, the person sued the third party for defamation. The Tokyo District Court judged for the plaintiff and was awarded 100,000 yen, about $820 today. And case 2, a quasi-rape incident occurred in an event circle. Quasi-rape by Japanese definition is a crime of committing sexual intercourse, anal intercourse, oral sex with another who's passed out under the influence of such as alcohol and lost consciousness to resist or was not able to resist. A magazine published an anonymous report about the incident without giving the subject's real name. In this case, although the incident happened and the subject was anonymous in the report, the court still awarded for the subject, as it was judged that the subject...
See, that is totally weird. Yeah, I don't agree with that whatsoever, but I don't make the laws. That's bad. That is really bad.
Could be identified by judging the totality of the circumstances and received a total of 4.4 million yen for defamation damages, about 36,000 US dollars.
So basically, this person raped someone and then didn't even get their name, and then they got awarded. That's no. That needs to be changed. That really needs to be changed. That is just obscene.
Maybe not necessarily illegal around the world, but I thought this one was worth mentioning. So yeah, if you're in Japan and someone's talking that shiz, you may be able to do something about it. Number 4. Food. Now this one is quite a sensitive topic for many people, so I'm going to try to tread lightly. In Japan, hunting whale and dolphins as well as eating seal and sea lion is completely legal. Although it's part of the diet for some Japanese, it's probably safe to say that most don't eat it regularly.
It's not common.
Yet it's still easily found in shops and some restaurants. Even a quick search on Amazon will yield results for some of these animals. On the other hand, shark fin, also legal to eat in Japan, probably more commonly eaten, and I think it's fair to say that many Japanese consider it a delicious food, as it's easily found on menus, probably most commonly found in Chinese restaurants throughout Japan. But since it's such an expensive delicacy here, Japanese...
Yeah, because like, it's just a tiny bit of the animal, isn't it? And all the rest is just being sort of wasted, to my knowledge.
Probably won't be eating it regularly. In regards to whaling specifically, Joji Morishita, who negotiated Japan's withdrawal from the International Whaling Commission, said in Japan the whale eating issue is a symbol of respect for different cultures, and many people in Japan think it's not right for people from outside to impose food culture on other places. Whether you agree with any of this or not, the simple fact is, at this time, it's legal to eat these foods here in Japan. And number 5, cigarettes. So these days we all pretty...
Is this still allowed to smoke in restaurants and things. Because, yeah.
You must know that cigarettes are not that good for you. Many places around the world have laws protecting citizens, including children, from cigarettes and secondhand smoke. But Japan, although not there yet, is slowly catching up. There are still things that you can do legally here in Japan when it comes to cigarettes that aren't necessarily legal in other parts of the world. In Japan, you can still buy cigarettes from vending machines. Granted, you have a TASPO photo ID card and you're of age. Also, although most indoor smoking as of 2020 has been prohibited, you can still smoke in hotel rooms.
That's good, because like one of the podcasts I'm trying to learn Japanese from sort of mentioned it, and it was from a few years ago, so it was still like legal to smoke in like restaurants and things, which really isn't appealing because cigarette smoke is nasty. It smells yucky.
Cigar bars, and even some small-sized restaurants and bars that were open before April 2020. I don't know though, I feel like there's still a lot of restaurants and bars all throughout Japan that were open before 2020. Either way, Japan has come a long way from where it was just a few years ago when...
It's still like, even though there are some that you can smoke in still, it's nice to know there are others where you can't. So it gives a nice option. It gives the option to be able to go somewhere where you're not going to be infecting your lungs with secondhand smoke.
Wherever you went indoors, you can pretty much smoke inside. Anyways, those are things that you can legally...
Those are the things you can legally do in Japan. I can honestly say I won't be doing any of those. That started off really quite horrific, and there were some really like quite disturbing things in there. I didn't think it would be like such a serious like video. I thought it would be like light-hearted, you know, like silly laws that you could do, but no. Anyway, let me know down in the comments what you thought of it and just like your opinions on these laws. Obviously, it's a different country from where I live, so there's not a lot I can do about it. Yeah, but anyway, that was a video from Paolo. I knew it was Paolo. I knew it was a P. I just wasn't confident enough to say it. Paolo from Tokyo. So if you did like their video, pop over to their channel. I will leave a link down in the description and give it a like. But if you, I don't even know which picture to leave it on. Yeah, let's leave it on there as if we're just pointing to that random guy walking down the street. But anyway, yeah, if you did like my video, please go down and give my video a like, because it does help the channel grow. It does let YouTube know that it might be interested and it might show it to other people. And also, if you really want to help this channel grow, then make sure you leave a comment as well. Doesn't matter what it is. If you don't want to talk about the video, because let's face it, some of those things were quite disturbing, just put Pokemon down there. I'll understand. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.